Okay, our color chart. This has a very specific way. I want you to do this for the first two stages, which is what this video is. And then the second two stages, if you follow along and do it as I do in the video, what you'll notice is you actually save yourself a lot of time and effort. I've already kind of prepped just pure hue in each one of these small wells in my palette. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, brown, and black. I have tried to use as little water as possible to get some of those out of there. And the reason that I'm doing that instead of just coming straight from here is that for part two of this, I actually want to dilute that, and it'll make it easier for me if I already have this ready to go. So that's why I've done that. The idea in this worksheet is that we have not only different color mixtures that we might not be used to, but also that we have different values. So the bottom half should be darker and the top half should be lighter. They will be mirror images of one another. And this diagonal line that goes through the middle here is that defining edge between dark and light. I'm going to start by just doing the bottom half of the square for each pure hue. So starting with red. For this, honestly, I have a round brush. It's not super tiny, but it's small enough that I can, or I should say, because it's round, I can get in the corners and be neat. Now, I want to try to smooth that out so there's no texture, but what I don't want to do is do the lighter half of this red right now. It might seem intuitive to do that, but if I do that, this will become wet on wet right along the edge, and it will all bleed together, and that's not what we want. So I rinse out my brush, I grab my orange, and I'll come through here, and I'll do the same thing with orange. And notice that I'm rotating my paper so that I can most easily get into those corners. Had a little extra water that I'm trying to pick up with my brush and put on the paper towel over here. Now, orange and yellow are fairly weak and faint hues. So as I come through here, I may actually, once those are dry, I may have to come through and put a second coat on there. But again, that is to be expected, and I will deal with that when the time comes. I will do my best before class to edit this video so that I can speed some of this up. But again, you go straight through the rainbow, the same order that all of the colors are in the pan. Right now, there's no mixing, there's just pure hue, trying to get it as smooth as possible. There is a way to speed this up actually, so I'm going to go over to the counter and grab one of the hair dryers and actually dry this, and then I'll come back and I will do the lighter half. Okay, so I went over and I dried this, and I actually got some clean water because what I'll want to do is come through and just take plain water and dilute each of these colors. The other thing that I'll say is making sure that you have plenty of fresh paper towels and making sure you have a piece of paper to test your color out on, or I should say your value out on, because you want to be able to make sure that this is light enough. Having some sort of scrap paper so that when you come through with whatever color, in this instance red, you can make sure that it is light enough before you actually commit to here, because with watercolor, we can't go back and paint on top of it and make it any lighter, and we don't want to overwork it. So We just have to be prepared ahead of time. One of the things that I'm trying to do is to just make this very light but still visible. So next I have my orange ready. You don't want too much water in here, and right along this edge you don't want to overwork it where the dark and the light values meet either. So be careful of that. One thing that I didn't mention yet with this is how I know where these colors go. And there is a grid arrangement for this. So it lists the colors in the same order that they show up in the palette, in the same order basically as a rainbow, obviously minus some of these. And then it's the same over here. So red and red, orange comes next, and both yellow, green, blue, violet, brown, and black. So that wherever the colors are intersecting, so blue and blue, I just find where they intersect, and that's how I know where dark and light blue go, if I have violet and violet, or yellow and yellow. These will also come in handy for the next stages when I'm actually mixing two different colors together for here, and then diluting it and creating a lighter value for up here.